All right. As far as the QB update, Andy again was limited today, so he'll be questionable for Sunday. The starter is going to be a game time decision. Both out there this week for practices, and Andy is getting better each day, and we're just going to see where he's at on Sunday. Like I said, in regards to for Khalil, I talked about him where he was at. It was good to see him out there today and limited. I think that's important. That's a good start there. So he'll be questionable for Sunday. And other than that, that's really where we're at. I thought today we had a good day for red zone, and that's important. We got to get better there. Other than that, we'll go ahead with questions.
Do you have two game plans?
Go ahead.
Do you have a game plan for Andy and a game plan for Justin?
I'm not going to get into that with scheme.
I'm not asking what's in it.
Maybe. That's true. That's true. I think we feel good right now with where we're at with the game plan. And no, honestly, I think it's good. Those guys have been. Here's what's important in all seriousness. What's important is that they're both getting better, and then for us, that's a positive. And that's all we can do is continue to see where they're at, and Andy, with him being limited, and continue to work through where he's at, and then see where he's at on Sunday.
Is Dalton either the starter or inactive?
That's a good question, and that's all what we're working through. That's part of what we're working through, that whole deal, because there's scenarios and things that we have to know on Sunday which way how we're going to do that.
So he could potentially be the number 2 and Justin starts?
Say that again, with you Foles, with Nick. I would, to answer that question, because I think that's a good question too, I would say I feel good that between Andy and Justin, that will be good there between those two guys. And I don't foresee it being where Nick would be the starter.
Man, what about the?
Is that what you're asking?
What about could Dalton be healthy enough to be the 2, but not the 1?
It all, again, we're working through all that. We're working through it all. There's a lot of different scenarios.
And if there's some question about Dalton's health, whether he can play, why not just start Justin Fields and let Dalton get better so he's 100% next week? It just seems to show a lack of confidence in Fields, to start again, to make another start after last week.
Right. No, I get all that, and that's not the case.
Is the decision you make on who's the starter dependent solely on how Andy feels before the game, during warm-ups, when he wakes up tomorrow afternoon?
Yeah, it's really
What's the finish line?
It's ongoing. It's today. It's tomorrow. It's Sunday. I feel like, again, the good part about both of those guys is that they're both progressing in the right way, and then what we got to do is be able to see where Andy's at, and really up until Sunday. That's why it's the game time decision. But in the meantime, for us, like to the first question that was asked with Brad with the game plans, like we know, if it's this one or that one, we know how to go about that. So
It would seem to signal that if he was limited in practice today, then he couldn't play a game right now. Andy Dalton.
Again, for where we're at right now, I think it's great what Andy has come from the start when he got hurt, from the first day he got hurt till right now. He's been doing a great job of getting better each day, and that would be hard to answer, I think, to say that right now. I think that Andy's done a great job of getting better each day, so that when Sunday comes around, we're able to evaluate and see truly where he's at and where we're at.
Is the biggest issue, do you think, with his knee, just the ability to move around in the pocket, so he's not just a sitting duck back there?
No, but I think for him, when you go through an injury, and when you go through a knee injury and you have dropbacks, you have handoffs, you have, whatever it is that you want to have ultimate trust in knowing that you're not thinking about that injury while you're playing. And, I can specifically say that because I know I went through that with an ACL injury. You think about that, and once you get by that, then you can start playing football. And I think that's part of it for him too, is just making sure that he feels good with that. And then you have the doctor side of it too, structurally, making sure whatever it is, pain, structure, whatever. So.
If it's not a lack of confidence in Justin Fields, what has he shown you this week that there is no remnants of the disaster of last.
Well, to go back to the first part of that is that his game that he played last week, I mean, he did a lot of things that he's going to learn from, but we also, like, and myself, have to help him. And so I think the biggest thing for him is, okay, here's how I was in the week of practice. Here's how I was on game day, both physically and mentally. Now, how am I going to be heading into this week? Am I getting better? Is there improvement? Am I getting better at the things I was good at? Am I getting better at the things that I wasn't so good at? And that's what we're doing as coaches throughout the week of practice, is being able to watch him and see that. And I can say from last week to this week that you do see that advancement. That's that there, knowing and feeling where how he practiced is why I would answer it that way.
Matt, I think what a lot of Bears fans want to know is, why is it so important to you that Andy starts when he's not 100% on Friday?
Well, I would just say this, again, for the situation that we're in right now with two guys that are injured, right? We have to be able to understand, when there's injuries involved, it's really a lot different than anything else. When you have injuries involved, there's health, there's, your status of your strengths and weaknesses within the game, and that's all stuff that internally we talk about. So, whatever it is in regards to why are you concerned about why people think you could make a decision Friday, Saturday, or Sunday, or what the health is. I mean, we know what we're doing, and that's what what we're believing in and going with as far as
Matt, you said two injured players. Justin's been a full participant all week.
Yeah.
Are you comfortable with his health?
with what?
Are you comfortable with his health?
Yeah, I feel good. Again, he's getting better. He was getting better every day, and again, he had his hand taped up again. So I think the biggest thing is especially when you're dealing with, you're a quarterback, you need your hand, and there's always going to be a little bit of an issue there. So him, just probably more than anything too, again, mentally, is just getting used to that. So both guys have been really good in regards to their mindset preparing. Nick has been the same way. And then again, the biggest thing is just every day making sure that they can get a little bit better, and that's where we're at. And then all week what we're doing is making sure that we prep and understand for what our choices could be and what could happen. And I think I think right now we feel good as a staff as to the what ifs, and so now we go about it.
With Andy's age and the fact that a 300-pound man could possibly land on him and hurt him further, why have you not taken a more cautious approach to his injury?
Well, I mean, there's a lot of what ifs that could go on. I mean, you could play that what if game all the time, and this is football. I mean, you don't have to have a hurt knee, and that can happen. So this is football, and Andy would be the first to tell you that that's the last thing he's worried about.
I just want to check if anything's changed in the last 48 hours. Are you willing to tell us who's calling the plays Sunday, or is that?
Nothing's changed from what I said Wednesday.
Okay.
Yep.
If you were, I guess, on the other side of that, why does that make such a big difference from a competitive advantage? Just tendencies that you.
Yeah, I think so. I would say that. Whatever. Again, that's for sure. Probably the number one thing is tendencies, to be quite honest. And at the same point in time, again, there was more things that we discussed, and that's like just big picture for all of us. I'm trying to keep that. When you have those discussions, not just the play calling and the things that went on last week, which we had a bunch of good ones. I think I try to, just out of respect to everybody I have those with, just keep that private.
Yeah, with two quarterbacks that have kind of different skill sets, how does that affect the team for it to be a game-time decision?
I think that they understand. We're not the first team that this has happened to.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, there's other teams, and we went through this last year too.
But is there a switching of gears mentally almost, when, from one to the other?
I think the players, when they just worry about themselves, and they just say, hey, listen, man, I'm going to come out here and do my job, and I'm not a quarterback. So whatever happens, whoever is our quarterback, that's what we believe in, and we'll roll.
With Eddie Goldman, he took him off the injury report. What are you expecting out of him in his first game in 2019, and will he be on any kind of snap count since it has been so long?
I think for Eddie, number one, I give him credit for really getting to this point right now. It's unlucky what happened in that early on there the first week, but that's a part of life. And so for him to get back to this point and really for all of us to feel good about where he's at with his status here on the deal, I think we're going to see a player that's going to come out and give it his all. I don't like to put stat lines or anything like that on the guy, but I know this, he had a really, really good week of practice. And now, probably more than anything, is his conditioning and just getting used to that game condition. But he's, I know he holds himself to play well and puts a lot of accountability on himself to help out. So he's going to be anxious to get out there.
Now, when we spoke to you on Wednesday, it was before practice, you hadn't, you'd gone through a pretty, trying 2 days.
Yeah.
Where are you after 3 practices? Where are you just on a personal level, knowing kind of the fire that's burning outside maybe?
Yeah, well, where I'm at right now is inside. I'm inside with these guys. I'm inside with this building. I'm inside with everybody that's here together doing this. And when you have those candid conversations, and they're like the ones that we had, they can be really, really good in so many ways, but then you gotta implement that too, right? I think they gotta see actions, and we as coaches gotta see actions too, like reciprocated back and forth. So to answer your question, I'm in a really good place, eager to get back out there for our team and for our city and for really all of us that are in this together to get back on track, because it's week 3, and for us to understand that, hey, we can be a lot better and we want to be better, and now it's getting through those days throughout the week. You get a little bit closer each day to be able to get back out there as a team and try to get back to winning a division game, which is so crucial. And then if you get that win, right, then you're able to build off of that, and now you continue to go. And then people see that, hey, sometimes this all happens for a reason. That's kind of the way I'm attacking it.
Thanks, guys.
All right? All right, see you.